Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one next, because this actually touches on a very underrated topic. So this is from the JRE Clips channel, the Joe Rogan Experience Clips channel. It'll all be linked down below in the description and comment section. But this is something that I kind of wanted to talk about as well because it's such an underrated topic. The idea is like this. So, y'all know the movies The Wizard of Oz, Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Alice in Wonderland, stuff like that? So, there's actually a certain, the term for those types of stories is portal stories. And this was a video that I had in my favorites playlist. If y'all don't know, we're watching about 1,000 different videos from my favorites playlist, but nonetheless, this is a topic that isn't really talked about much, and you don't really see it too much in film or TV or anything. At least not to any real degree, like The Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland. And if the stories are there, then they're certainly not all that popular. At least not as popular as I wish that they would be, because it takes a lot of imagination and creativity to create a portal story. But whenever it's put off right, it can be a legendary piece of art. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the video. This is Joe Rogan talking to someone, Eric something.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Maybe this is a good segue. I hadn't thought about it this way, but so can we use this format to announce that I am in fact starting the podcast? I've recorded a couple episodes already that are in the can, and it is called The Portal.
The Portal.
Yeah. So The Portal is refers to this very interesting thing that I thought everyone was aware of, but very often people wouldn't react to it. When I was a kid, I read all of these stories that I thought were known to be the same story, but different versions of it. And I called it the Portal story. And it was always the same. Somebody is trapped in a humdrum existence in an ordinary world until some sort of magical portal accidentally or on purpose enters their life. And either they go through a wardrobe,
DMT.
they go through a rabbit hole, looking glass, platform 9 3/4, or...
Oh yeah, right. Harry Potter technically would be one of those kind of stories, huh? Huh, forgot about that.
You know, Dorothy famously was used to introduce Technicolor, where the first part of the film, she's in Kansas, and it's in sort of grayscale black and white.
And that is such a masterpiece moment in cinema, dude. Oh my god. Genius. Love that movie, man.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And then she lands in Oz, and they open the door, and it's Technicolor, and there's this transitional scene where you see Technicolor for the first time.
Was that the first time ever in a movie?
I believe so. And so the question is,
if y'all haven't seen Return to Oz, the sequel to the first, well, it is The Wizard of Oz 2, but it follows the events of the first book, so like everything is more book accurate. So it is the second one, but it's not like, it doesn't follow the exact same reality as the first movie, but it's like that. But it is worth watching though. It's really, really good, but it is more, it does add more horror. So it is more book accurate. So even if you didn't like the first one because it was a musical and all that, check out the second one. It is called Return to Oz. It is so underrated as a Wizard of Oz story. It is so good. At least as far as I know, it's probably the best book adaptation of the Wizard of Oz ever created.
where's the portal? Like, why do we tell the same story over and over and over again with different protagonists, but it's always the same formula? It's somebody is trapped in an ordinary world. They're around norm.
Those are called story tropes, man.
They find the portal, and the portal becomes the call to adventure. And they spend time in the alternate universe. And then somehow they're able to live. Very often they return. If you remember the Phantom Toll Booth, Milo gets this present of a car in a toll booth, and he goes through the toll booth. And
What is that from?
Norton Juster was the author, and Jules Pfeiffer did the illustrations. It was just this brilliant book where there's like the land of letters and the land of numbers, so it's arts and sciences.
Oh.
And like there's a person who starts from his head and grows down until his feet reach the ground, and there's a numbers mine, and he has to rescue the princesses of rhyme and reason in order to restore order between the two kingdoms of like left and right hemisphere. It's some incredibly exciting story, and the idea is that after he goes and does all of these, like, there's an island called Conclusions, and when you make an assumption you leap to conclusions, so you suddenly jump. I mean, it's all very clever wordplay and stuff. At the end of the adventure, the toll booth disappears because it has to go to the next kid who needs it, and so my question was always, why on earth would we tell the same story over and over and over and over and over again? It has the same format, and it's always a different kind.
Story tropes. Wouldn't Dragonland technically be a portal story too, since they're being transported to Dragonland? Yeah. I'll call it one.
Text. And I came to believe that this story is actually this unkept promise for most people, that in their adult lives they don't find these portals. So, for example, have you ever been to Barcelona, Spain?
No.
There is a church in Barcelona, Spain, which is plenty impressive from the outside. When you go inside, I've been looking at pictures of it my entire life, called La Sagrada Familia. It is a psychedelic drug trip and a half like you've never seen. It is the most bizarre interior space I've ever seen in my life. Can you bring up the interior of this thing?
Whoa.
And
Usually art and religion is that way in some way, shape, or form.
on the one hand, it induces like a hallucinogenic state. On the other hand, it's an idea of what this architect Gaudi. Now, Gaudi is very famous. He did a lot of buildings around Barcelona. There is nothing like the inside of this church on this planet. And,
Whoa. Fuck, that's beautiful.
and if you look up at the roof,
Very. Oh, stupid ad, man.
One thing Planet Fitness members have in common, they're all strong.
That's right.
Fuck, that's beautiful.
and if you look up at the roof,
Wow.
and like,
Look
you know,
at
most
that.
things you're sort of prepared for them your whole life, and then you see it and you think, I guess that's cool. I'd been seeing this thing my whole life, and I had no concept of what a genius this human being was, because nothing he did.
Look at the outside of it.
The outside of it, I mean, look, this guy,
Fuck is
if he
amazing.
never did the inside of this church, he would be a very famous and idiosyncratic architect.
Wow.
But
Are they doing work on it there? Those
they haven't
cranes
finished it
stiff
yet.
it
And in
up.
fact, he's such a genius that they can't finish it in the style that he started.
Again, if you want to watch this entire video without my commentary, then everything will be linked in the description and the comment section below. This is Joe Rogan, the Mythology of the Portal, from the JRE Clips channel, the Joe Rogan Experience Clips channel.
Because nobody knows. It's like an unfinished symphony. What would you do? Nobody's smart enough to finish this church.
Wow. Look at the roof on that place.
Okay, now that is a
Ceiling,
portal.
rather.
That is a portal. Right? And when
That is certainly a masterpiece of art, yeah?
I was on this program before, I thought long and hard, what is it that I could push out to the planet to let people know how wonderful and beautiful the world that we live in is? And we pushed out the hop vibration, and suddenly, if you recall, I said to people, this is the most important object in the universe. Not the hop vibration in particular, but the class called principal bundle, which people have no idea it's out there. and it is the basis of the construct in which we live. So how is it that a normal human being can make contact with real physics, with real beauty of biology, or just understanding order, symmetry, all of these things that are beyond normal experience? And what I hope to do with the podcast.
I love that image so much. That is beautiful. I love art like this, where the longer you look at it, the more you see.
Is to have amazing guests and interesting conversations, but thank you for that, James.
That guy was on drugs.
That guy was.
He was drugs.
Well, that's remember that's what Dolly said. Somebody said, "Dolly, do you take drugs?" He said, "I am drugs." Right? Another Spaniard.
Yeah.
Spaniards are really something.
But that is very similar to psychedelic states.
Well, maybe some people have access to them all the time, right? In part.
Well, there's actually an illustration that sits above our sink out there from a guy who has a tumor in his pituitary, or his not his pituitary gland, his what is the one that they think produces DMT?
The pineal gland. It's in the center of the brain. So the thing about the pineal gland is that we don't know for certain whether or not the pineal gland produces an N-dimethyltryptamine, or DMT for short, but we do know that in lab rats it is produced from the pineal gland. However, in human beings, we do know that you can find DMT in both the liver and the lungs. Where it is produced from is still up for debate, but if I was betting on it, I would certainly say the pineal gland, or at least that would be like the primary place, even if there are other places. But that's the facts about that.
No.
Pineal?
Pineal. Thank you. He has a tumor in his tumor in his pineal gland, and so he accesses these states all the time. So this guy it's 100% DMT inspired artwork. I mean, if you look at it, that's like what you see when you do DMT trips. It's like, it's a version, in his style of art, but you can see you can see the signature of DMT. There it is. There's his artwork. What is his name? Sean Thornton. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for the artwork. It's fucking awesome, and it sits in our kitchen. I'll take a picture of it later and put it online. But that's his stuff. Like, that's super DMT-like.
Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, that's a tryptamine type experience. Like you could say, like Alex Gray is probably the most.
Dude, Alex Gray is a phenomenal artist. If y'all haven't checked out Alex Gray's work, go check it out. He's also done collaborations with the band Tool. I have never in my entire life experienced a more amazing artist outside of his wife.
Representative. I would say he's the most representative in terms of artists in the DMT space, in terms of like tryptamine.
I would go a step further and say not just in the psychedelic space, that Alex Gray is like if you're looking for inspiration as an artist, that is place number one without a doubt.
And psilocybin and things along those lines.
And so, if you think about psychoactive chemicals, some of them are stupefying, but some of them are portals. And this concept of, if you look at a wall, how do you know that the wall doesn't have a door? How do you know that there isn't a panic room behind the bookcase if you just pull out the right book? We learn to stop looking for the portal. And I think what I do differently than other people is that I became obsessed with exits. That there are other worlds and they're real. That this mythology of the looking glass and the rabbit hole and the matrix is metaphor for very real things.
Hold on, I just took a hit out of my piece real quick. Hold on. Alright, so again, everything is linked down below if you want to go watch without my commentary, but I do appreciate you all for being here, and tune into the next episode, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.